Hi friends, so yesterday we looked at picture graphs and bar graphs and learned and practiced a little bit on how to read them and understand the data on those two types of graphs. Well, today we're going to dig in a little bit deeper to picture graphs, and we are going to learn how to make a picture graph. So we'll watch our short little video and then we'll do some practice together, and then I will send you on your own for some more practice. All right, here we go.
How do you make a picture graph? Think about this question during the lesson. Sam recorded the number of each kind of bicycle a store sold during 1 month. First, he made a frequency table. You can also collect data for a frequency table with a survey by asking people questions.
We talked about
What
that
kinds
yesterday.
of marks are shown in the table?
You know, what kind of marks are those? We talked about it yesterday, and then it also tells you right here. Those are called tally marks.
The table shows tally marks. What does each tally mark in the table stand for?
So you should have talked about tally marks and done tally marks in second and even in first grade. But if you don't know, if you look here, we've got the number 10, right? So if we look at our tally marks and we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So each tally mark counts for 1. And when we do tally marks, we say 1, 2, 3, 4. But then for our 5, we say 5. Count with me. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But each tally mark stands for 1.
Each tally mark in the table stands for 1 bicycle sold. Each group of 5 tally marks stands for 5 bicycles sold. Use this table to make a picture graph. First, write a title for the picture graph. The title of the table is Kinds of Bicycles Sold. Next, choose a symbol for the key. Decide what each whole symbol and each half symbol will represent. Each whole triangle will represent 10 bicycles, and each half triangle will represent 5 bicycles.
A half symbol is used to represent 5 bicycles because 5 is half of 10.
What should you do to complete the picture graph?
Well, what do you think? We've come up with our title. We've come up with our symbols for our key. What do you think the next step is? Let's check.
List the 4 kinds of bicycles. Decide how many symbols you will need for each number of bicycles sold and draw the symbols. What kinds of bicycles have sold?
What do you think? If you look here, we've got road, track, training, and racing, right?
Road, track, training, and racing bicycles have sold. What statements can you say or write by looking at the triangles in the picture graph? One statement you can make is that the kind of bicycle that sold the most was the track bicycle. Why are 5 and 10 good numbers to use with the symbols on the picture graph?
So that's something we're going to have to do, and we'll practice a little bit more together. But when you make a picture graph, you have to figure out a good number for your key, a good number for what the symbol represents. So they picked 10 and 5. And if you look here over by the numbers, we've got 10, 20, 15, and 10. Those are all numbers that we can use with the symbols 10 or 5. They're all countings or multiples of 5. So that's why they chose 5 and 10.
The data for each type of bicycle on the picture graph can easily be separated into groups of 5 or groups of 10 with 5 left over. Now you know how to make a picture graph using the data found in a frequency table.
All right, so let's go ahead and get our volume 1, math notebooks. And I'm going to share my screen with you. And it always takes me 2 times. Make it nice and big for you. Hello again. And there we go. So I want you to go ahead and turn to page 259. 259. So let's go ahead and look at number 3. It wants us to use the table to complete the picture graph. And the first thing they always want us to do is to make sure that our picture graph has a title. Okay, that's step number 1. We also want to come up with a key. Now they did this part for us, okay? So our step 2 is that we want to come up with a key that's going to help represent our tallies, our data. So they've got the numbers 2, 8, and 3. So they thought it would be a good idea to make a whole lunch bag count for 2 votes, and then a half of a lunch bag count for 1 vote. Now I'm going to tell you, when you guys do it, don't draw a complicated picture like this, okay? So we're just going to do a square counts as 2 votes, and then a half of a square counts for 1. And that makes sense because each of these has 2 in it, right? And then half of 2 is 1. So let's go ahead and look at tacos. Tacos has 2 tally marks. So do we draw 2 boxes? No. 1 box counts for 2. So we really only need to draw 1 box. Okay, then let's look at the pizza. The pizza has 8. That does not mean we are drawing 8 boxes. If each box equals 2, how many boxes are we going to make to represent the 8 pizzas? I want you to go ahead and draw that one. So if we're counting by 2s, we could say 2, 4, 6, 8. You should have 4 squares here. And then for our salad, we have 3. What do you think it's going to look like to make 3? Well, if we know a whole box equals 2, and 2 plus 1 equals what? 3, we would draw 1.5 boxes. Okay, so your steps are the title, the key, and then step 3 is the data. All right, guys, so let's try a couple more together, and then I'm going to let you try some on your own. So they want us to complete the picture graph using the data over here. What was our step number 1? We need to come up with a title. So a title, goals each team has scored. All right, they already have the teams for us. So our next step is what? It's our key. Well, if we look here at our numbers, we've got 10, 20, 30, and then we've got 15. What could we do for a good key? A whole circle represents what? What do you think? Well, I'm noticing the majority of these are multiples of what? 10, 20, 30. They're multiples of 10. So a whole one could represent 10. So what's half of 10? 10 divided by 2, or what plus what equals 10? Write it down. So a half of a ball or circle or whatever it is would equal 5. And that makes sense because we do have a multiple of 5 here. All right. So if we look at our Cubs, they have 10 goals scored. So it does have to be a ball, right? They have 10 goals scored. So one ball we know equals 10. So for the Cubs, we're just going to draw one circle, one ball. Right? The Hawks has what? 20. So how many balls are we going to draw? If 1 equals 10, go ahead and draw it. You should have done 10, 20, 2 balls, right? Now we've got the Lions. The Lions are at 30. Go ahead and draw it. 10, 20, 30. And then we have our Roadrunners. They're at 15. How would we draw 15? Well, right away, I know 10 plus 5 equals 15. So I'm going to draw one whole ball and one half of a ball. Okay, guys? So that is pretty much how you draw a picture graph. Now, after you've drawn it, it's also important to be able to read it and understand it and interpret the data. So which two teams scored more goals? The Cubs and the Lions, or the Hawks and the Roadrunners? All right, well, we know the Cubs had what? 10. The Hawks had 10, 20. The Lions had 10, 20, 30. And the Roadrunners we know had 15. Remember how I talked about that yesterday? Writing it down is going to help you when you have those word problems. So they want to know who scored more, Cubs and Lions. All right, Cubs plus Lions equals what? 40. Or the Hawks plus the Roadrunners. That's 20 plus 15. 35, right? So who scored more? These guys, right? The Cubs and Lions. Okay, and number 6 says, explain how you decided the numbers of each symbol to draw to show the goals for the Roadrunners. Well, we kind of talked about that. We knew 10 plus 5 equals 15, right? So you knew one circle equals 10 and a half of a circle equals 5. So 10 plus 5 equals 15, right? All right, let's go ahead and look at the back. The back, you are going to do 7, 8. Let me see. You do not need to do number 9 unless you want to, and you could maybe do it at home, asking friends at home. 10 and 11. So you're going to do 7, 8, 10, and 11. All right. So they are wanting you to make some picture graphs here. Make sure an adult checks your work and you fix any mistakes that you have. There is no discussion post today, but there will be one tomorrow. All right, guys. All right. Have fun with your picture graphs. Bye.